Hey everyone. Before we start the video, I would like to apologize. A huge apology to everyone who has patiently been waiting for us to upload this video. We have been just extremely busy the past couple of weekends. We've been helping a close family of ours move homes, and it's just been really crazy and hectic, and we've just been so tired and exhausted and just depleted. It's been unreal.
Probably best by now.
Because of the light.
Yeah.
Well, today, excuse us, we're trying to figure out how to do this.
Very good
Today
one.
we're joined by Caleb, who wants to be a part of the video today. He's going to help me be able to keep track of my notes that I have here. I have everything written down, and so it's easier for me to keep track of what I'm saying. I don't get lost, I don't get confused, I don't repeat things, and because I do that, and it's easy for me to get distracted whenever I'm trying to have a conversation. So with further ado, we would like to get started. So our video today is about Imbolc, which is one of the 8 pagan Sabbaths that we celebrate throughout the year. Now, not every pagan celebrates Imbolc. Not every pagan celebrates every 8 Sabbath. I mean, it's really truly based off of what you feel is best for yourself. And if you're like part of a coven and you follow what they do, or your family or something like that. But as far as our family, we try our best to participate in all 8 Sabbaths, and we try our best to help learn and discuss and create kind of like family traditions that a lot of families have growing up. Like, you know how some people are like, let's get together and decorate their Christmas tree, or let's hunt eggs on Easter. It's always like one of those like family things that you've always done. We're trying to create those in this household. Oh, Ghost wanted to join. We try to create those in this household because we are such a really diverse religion based household. It's like the easiest way for us to explain. We have already posted a video talking about the ranges or the varieties of like religious paths that we all choose and decide to follow. And like, for example, like I'm Wiccan and Caleb, he's Luciferian. So we have 2 way completely different looks on life, kind of in a sense, but we do like to do the same things with our family, kind of. We just may not have the same outlook on afterlife or what's happening in our lives today. It's just, that's the easiest way to explain it. So, Imbolc. Imbolc is traditionally celebrated in the Northern Hemisphere somewhere between February 1st to February 3rd. Our family celebrates all 3 days because we have a bigger family, and we try to take these days to try to separate it as far as like individual celebration, family celebration, activities, reading, something together as far as involving the actual Sabbath itself. And then we have a day where we try to come together with like other friends who may practice or celebrate or recognize that Sabbath, and we try to do like a group thing together. And that's why we do it all 3 days. But if you're from the Southern Hemisphere, you will celebrate it between August 1st and August 3rd. So, Imbolc. It is the stirring of the earth begins. The seeds below are drinking in the melting snow, and the shoots are starting deep within the earth. So basically what it is that it's kind of like the start of spring, pretty much. You'll start seeing the first signs of spring. which means like the leaves will start turning green again. You'll start seeing green grass in your yard. Or if you live somewhere where it snows, we do not, you'll start seeing like the snow is starting to melt. You probably won't be getting as many heavy snowstorms. Where we do live, though, it does tend to get a lot of ice during the really cold time of the year. And we've noticed that it's not really icing over as much. It's not really getting cold as much. Like, we still have, like, some pretty chilly winds every now and then. Like, today, for example, it was pretty chilly whenever the wind blew. But it's not as, like, cold as it has been in the past. So, those are the signs that you'll start experiencing whenever you are like actually wanting to celebrate and recognize today. It is also typically known as St. Bridget's Day, and for people who have a lot of Christian backgrounds, mainly Catholic based, you may also know it as Candlemas. And I will leave that there at that. I don't want to touch that topic. I do not at all condone it being called Candlemas, but that's just my own personal preference. It's not his preference. It's not anybody else that I'm in the family's preference. It's my preference, and I just am not even going to remotely even touch that part of the conversation. And I may get a lot of backlash for that, and that's perfectly fine. But again, like, it's your practice and your practice alone, and I just wanted to share things that I know and the things that we do as our family, that I do alone, as I celebrate and recognize Imbolc. So, Imbolc is one of the 4 fire festivals of the year. These include Imbolc, Beltane, Lunasta, and Samhain. And so today is February 11th, right?
Correct.
And so what we did, or what I did personally, I can't even say we, because like I said, we've been so busy. What we had originally planned to do as a family is have a huge bonfire together. What we ended up doing was not that. But what I ended up doing is taking a lot of time and being able to meditate with myself and be able to practice more flame work, being able to practice more shadow work, being able to practice more with who I am and what I stand for. And I tend to lean a lot at this time on my astrological sign, which is a Leo, which is, you know, a lot of like fire and flames and just a lot of just sun and just heat and warmth and all those things. That rustling noise is our cat playing in front of the camera. He's just being a little pain right now, so ignore that.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's in our window playing with a bag that we have there.
Don't try climbing the curtains, please.
In the curtain.
Please don't climb the curtain.
Watch him say that, and he's going to start doing that.
Or fall, like a clumsy cat.
So as I said, today is also known as St. Bridget's Day. St. Bridget is the goddess that is celebrated or recognized today in the Celtic community. I don't personally work with Bridget, but I do give her her recognition for the day, or for the Sabbath, or the days that I celebrate. I do give her her recognition, and I will explain how I do that later on, because I do have an activity that I do want to show you that we do with our children that we did this year. And he did it. You said it, and he did it. Our cat played with the curtain.
No, I said climb the curtain. He didn't do exactly as I said, but he got close.
So, our house is just, it's a mess right now. It's a mess.
That's an understatement on that.
So please excuse that. But St. Bridget, she is known for healing, the hearth, fertility, blacksmithing, and poetry.
I'm not good at that last one.
As I said, not all pagans like to focus on Bridget to celebrate Imbolc. Some will focus on it signifying the start of new life, and the others will signify it being one of the fire festivals. I try to do all 3 reasons in Imbolc. I don't typically focus on one more than the other. I do give, like I said, I do give my recognition to Bridget. I also celebrate being a fire festival because I really love working with flames and working with like heat and that type of thing in my practice. And I also really love recognizing the fact that it's meaning of like new life, a new start. Everything that was dying is being reborn. I like really focus on that because one, I'm a woman and I'm a mom, and I love being able to get my children involved and teaching them, things may die away during the cold winter months and then they come back during the warm spring months. And this is why, and all of those things. So, some things that you can do to celebrate. You can celebrate the sun's return, like I was saying. You can, like I do, I like to work with like the heat and the light and things like that, not only because I'm a Leo, but because I do want to recognize that it is one of the 4 fire festivals. So you can sit outside and watch the sunrise. You can sit outside and watch the sunset. And you could possibly do one of the activities that I do with my children, which is I will give them some colors that represent like the sunrise or sunset, and give them a blank piece of paper and tell them to draw me the sunrise or the sunset that they see. And we did that last year, and it was absolutely wonderful being able to take a blanket out there early in the morning and actually watch the sunrise and listen to her talk about how pretty it was and what it felt like, and watching her go crazy trying to capture all the colors and blend them. And it kind of just really melted my heart. And I still have that picture. I have it packed away in her last year's box that we did, and it's one of my favorite pieces. It's one of my favorite pieces whenever she did, like, I look at it and whenever she brings it up, and she still does it to this day. She'll look outside our window and she'll color the colors of the sky, and it's really cool to know that she actually looks forward to those types of things. You'll start to recognize that the days are longer and that the nights are shorter. And so Imbolc is the day that it was supposed to be celebrated this year, the day that is signified. If you Google it, it says February 2nd. And so that day technically most likely was like our longest day and our shortest night, which means we had sun more than we did like last month in January, which means the sun stayed up probably like an hour or 2 more than what it typically did. I don't really time it. I don't really try to focus on like, oh, well, it came up at this time and went down at that time. I just try to bring it in and bask it in as much as I can. We live in a very big home that's full of just windows and doors. And during that time, I try to like open up all the windows and let the warmth and the light come in and warm our home as much as we can. Me and our wife that lives here, resides in this home, we tend to wake up in the morning and we try to make sure that everything is bright and open and just let the warmth come in and just like refresh our home, get rid of the old energies and bring in new energies. And I enjoy it. I'm not sure so much about Jennifer. I would have to ask her, but I enjoy it, and it brings me peace, and it helps kind of just get rid of like last year's funk and bring in like, okay, this year's gonna be a good year, pretty much. fingers crossed. It will become warmer, and you can watch the sunrise and you can watch it set. And another way you can do that is if you don't have time to do that, like if you work shift work, or like you travel a lot or something, you just can't take that time to sit down and enjoy those moments. You can light a candle, and that can signify like bringing in the warmth, recognizing the sun. Or you can light a candle as you watch it to help be like, I'm capturing the sun's light and I'm going to light this candle and bring it into my house, and it's going to light my home. It's going to bring just a refreshing energy, you know, kind of like how you just take like a breath of fresh air after you've been in a really, really just closeted space. It's kind of like that. Just imagine that, feel that, breathe that, and like as you carry that candle inside, and you're just so much better, so much lighter. You can open your doors and your windows to allow the sun's energy to cleanse your home. Like I said, we do that. I do that almost every day of the year if I get a chance, as long as it's not storming and it's not freezing cold, because we do have an infant, and we tend to try to just do a lot of like cleansing, because there's 5 adults that live in this house, and everybody's energies all the time don't typically work very well with one another. We do have our own feelings, and sometimes it's just like, oh, it's too stuffy, we just gotta air it out, and so we do that a lot, and it kind of just, it helps. It really does. A lot of people think we're crazy, but it helps. It just helps feel so much lighter, and me personally, I feel a lot warmer, and I tend to watch his anger and his annoyance disappear. I get to see Justin's annoyance and tension disappear, so it works. It really does. You can do a solar ritual. You can have a feast. And typically during that feast, people like to eat a lot of dairy, hot and spicy foods and drinks. People tend to eat a lot of root vegetables. This year, whenever we did our meal for Imbolc, we ate a really good hearty meal. We focused on having like bread, homemade bread, and we focused on having like a really warm feeling meal, because like I said, it has still been cold here. So I'm not going to cook something that I would fix like during the summertime. I fixed like a really good warm southern home cooked belly filling meal, and I'm not sure about everybody else, but it felt really great to be able to sit down and be like, this is good. This is so good. And to watch my daughter, who's an extremely picky eater, enjoy the meal as well felt really good and really, really refreshing. So you can do offerings. Some ideas of offerings are music. You can dance. You can craft something. You can use incense. You can use milk. You can give milk back to the earth and the fae. You can give food or nutrients back to the wildlife and nature, because, you know, creatures are coming out of hibernation around this time, like creatures that we typically don't see. Like around my home, we see a lot of like rabbits and foxes and that type of thing during the spring and summertime, and during the wintertime we typically don't see a whole lot of those. And here lately, even just the other day coming home from the store, I saw this cutest little red fox run across the road, and it was so cute. I was riding in the car with Jennifer, and I was like, oh my god, look at it, it's so adorable. It was so tiny. It could have been full grown, but it just looked so tiny, and it was just so cute. And you can tell that he was all bushy, and he was just like,
you didn't have a way to catch it?
No,
I would domesticate it.
I was driving down the road, but it was just so cute. And I told her, I said, I bet you he just woke up and he's looking for something to eat. And so we do that. We put food outside for animals, and we put drinks outside for animals, because we understand that, you know, water's still frozen, or food's not growing back fast enough. And so we set things outside, and typically it's gone. within the next day or two, because they come and they smell it and they're just like, thank you, and they take it and they leave. Yeah, I found my spot. He's helping me find my spot. So some of the things that you can do as far as crafting, as in an offering or just a way to help recognize, is, let me reach back here and get it, is you can make a Bridget's doll, which is what this is right here. It's made out of corn husk. And I actually have a video of us making this up on my TikTok, which is the same name as our YouTube channel. So it's Shrouded Silhouettes. It's 2 parts. So the first part we have making the head and the body and her starting to roll the arms. And then the second part is her placing the arms and making the rest of the body and tying it and all that type of stuff. So typically what I do with my Bridget's doll is we make her and we let her finish drying and harden, because she's wet, because you have to soak the corn husk in order to make them movable. If not, they're just going to break apart. You don't want that to happen. After she dries, we tend to either hang her above your door to offer her to come in, because like I said, she's the goddess of the hearth, and which is like your home and the warmth of your home, and you know, just it. She's supposed to like signify bringing in peace and new beginnings. So you can put her above your door, and you can be like, say, you know, Bridget, we want you, you're welcomed. Please enter our home, be a part of our home. Come bring your new beginnings into our home, that type of thing. Or you can do what I do, which is I place her on my altar, because I don't have anything that signifies Bridget for this day, because I don't typically work with Bridget on an everyday basis. And so I use her Bridget doll as this is a signal of you. This is a representation of you. I welcome you onto my altar, which is where I leave her my own personal offerings, and where I give her my own personal like time and meditation and energies and that type of thing. I focus with her and I work with her, so she's there in my own personal space, and I know where she's at, and I don't have to worry about losing her, any damage or anything like that happening. Another thing you can do with your family is, he's helping me, he's throwing things up, is you can make a Bridget's cross. And so my friends made this one, because I'm not very good at, I get frustrated very easily. Yes. So, it's a Bridget's cross, in which we made this one out of corn husk as well. So again, we had to soak them and then let it dry and that type of thing. And I placed this on my altar to give it my energies, my intentions that I wanted for the year. And I'm going to place this under my mattress. And that sounds completely crazy and bonkers to probably a lot of you that are watching. So you can place this above your door, again, to bring like sweet dreams, to bring peace, to bring warmth, to bring blessings from the goddess herself. A lot of women like to place this under their mattress for like fertility and love and peace and, you know, that type of thing, which is what I want to do, because, you know, we want to have more children. I want to bring more peace to my marriages this year. I want to bring more peace to myself and start loving myself deeper this year. So I want to take all of that energy and all of those intentions and place it where I am at my most vulnerable, which is whenever I'm asleep. So I'm going to place it underneath my mattress with me there. My friend, she places it above her door at her home. And then the last thing that we do with our children is, and this is my daughter's, is we like to make rain sticks. And you remember those things that you would play with in elementary school? I don't even know if they still do it to this day. My daughter doesn't talk about these at school. So, you know those like little sticks you can get, and it makes noise, and it can be higher, it can be lower, and it just sounds like rainfall coming. So that's what we made. We took an old paper towel tube. We haven't put the stretching paper around it, because I just wanted to show you how we did this one, because it's easy to make at home. So we took a paper towel tube, and we took some rice, and you can just tilt it and it sounds like rain. The instructions that I had says that you can take like one of those mailing tubes and put nails and stuff inside of it. We're not going to allow our daughter to play with hammer and nails. She's only 8. That's not happening. He'll do it one day. Probably next year we'll end up doing the mailing tube one so she can have a different one that sounds. But you just take some tape and you took the rice. Let's see, because there's the rice. You take some tape. I took some saran wrap and put it on there as well because I didn't want the rice sticking to the tape. And tape it on there, and then I'm going to take construction paper and, you know, cut it and wrap it around here and tape it and make it all nice and pretty, and she can decorate it and date it, that type of thing. And we made a little rain stick. So if she wants it to rain, or if she wants to sound like it's raining, or if she wants to just capture the energy of the rain whenever it does rain, she has her rain stick to be able to do that.
I prefer the first one. I don't want her praying for rain.
She already does that enough.
I'm tired of rain.
Yeah, she does that as enough as it is. So the little thing that I have here about the rain sticks, it says that on this season, we began to look for the signs of spring. These rain sticks symbolize the spring's rain that will soon come to wash away the gloom of winter. Using the rain sticks outside will help to welcome in the spring and all the new life that is germinating under the frozen land that will soon come forth. So what it says you need is 1 mailing tube, a bunch of nails, all the same length as the diameter of the mailing tube, 1 or 2 cups of rice, duct tape, and a hammer. And then what you do is that you're supposed to take the nails and put it through the tube. It's not supposed to go from one side to the other. It's supposed to just go through the tube and kind of like see the nail in the middle of the tube. Like so when you hold the tube, you're not getting stabbed by the nail. And so that whenever you pour the rice in there, it has all these different densities of nails to go through. Like you may put 1 nail, 2 nails, 3 nails, you know, so on and so forth. So when it falls, it sounds like either really, really heavy rain or really, really light rain, and so on and so forth.
Or a hurricane.
Or a hurricane, which would be our luck as living down here in the South. And you, of course, like tape the ends closed so that the rice doesn't fall out, and then you can decorate the tube however you want. And you play with it to help bring on forth the rains, to help wash away the gloom, and that type of thing. My daughter absolutely loves playing with this thing. I have to tell her to stop sometimes because it wasn't supposed to rain, and then all of a sudden rain was in the forecast, and I was not happy about that because it ruined major plans we had for the day. Anybody out there that's like me that hates driving in the rain, I swear she did it on purpose.
I hate being around the rain.
Well, yeah, because you work with electricity all the time. You're an electrician, so I can understand that.
Yeah. I'm tired of rain.
So, with the Bridget's doll, you can also place her in a basket with some cloths, typically like a white cloth or a green cloth. And you can take that basket and you can put it in the part of your home that has the most warmth, in which for our house, it would be our fireplace. And you can do that, or you can place her by your door, place her in direct sunlight. Basically what it is just letting that doll absorb all of the sun's energy and kind of just be like, okay, you're going to bring in the warmth, you're going to bring in the love, the nurturing, the cleansing, the everything for your home. And another thing you could do is you can go through like your closets, your junk drawers, your bedroom, and do a really good deep spring cleaning. You ever just grew up and your mom was just like, okay, we got to spring clean. It's spring. I can just feel it coming on. We've got to clean. Like we've got to clean everything. That's where it came from, was this Sabbath, this bringing on this reason for spring, this new beginning, is the need to just clean everything out. And so what I do is I go through and I kind of just cleanse my home and I clean my home. I sweep from one end of my house all the way to the other end of my house. And I do not cross paths. I don't allow the old dirt to go into areas that have already been swept. And we sweep it out of the home. And as I'm doing that, I'm like, okay, all of this is out. This is all new. We don't want all this old out. We don't want any of this bad energies, none of this stuffiness no more. We want all fresh. We want all new. And as I do that, I'm like, out, 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 out. And you kind of just do it with your own intentions, your own ritual work. And then I go through and we kind of spray the house down with this really pretty smell that we have, the spray that we have. And we try to make it just be like, oh, it smells so much better. It smells clean. It smells nice. It smells like spring. You know, we really, really harness the feeling of what it is to be like warm and clean, like fresh linens, like out of the dryer. Like that's what we envision. That's what we embody. That's what we want our home to be, in the cool side of a pillow. So all right, I already did the Bridget's cross. I'm trying to get to where I was at.
Well, the last time when you were reading, you stopped off here, so I don't know how you got over there.
All right, I've already, these are the activities, the Bridget doll and stuff like that. So another thing you can do is make a Bridget mandal, which is you can take green fabric, place it outside to be filled with her magic. And because like the color green is typically associated with Imbolc. And so you just place it outside. You can drape it outside. You can, put the fabric in a whole piece and strips, whatever. And just let it soak up just the warmth and the feelings of what Imbolc is, of what spring is. And you can just use those pieces of fabric for like cleaning, for placing in your room, on your altar, using them in your hair to tie your hair back, anything like that. Use them for whatever purposes you want. And you just really, really just absorb the feelings of spring. So a lot of people, even myself, tend to do this. If you are like me, it's not mandatory. You don't have to technically have one of these. I have 3 of these in my home, in this room alone. It seems like a lot, but they're not. They all each serve their own purposes for their own meanings. So if you're like me and you have an altar, a lot of people typically like to take that down and clean it and refresh it and decorate it for the Sabbath, for the season, for the year, however you want to do it. I do it for the year, and I add pieces on there for each Sabbath, and I take those pieces off as they're needed, and so on and so forth. I have 3 altars. I have one actually right here above my head here. It's on my vanity. So this altar here has 2, 3. So there's one here. You can't really see her. And then one there. And then one on the other far side right there. I have 3 goddess statues, and each goddess statue is supposed to represent my intentions, the things that I seek as far as wanting to be a woman, which is like motherhood, beauty, patience, that type of thing. Then I have 2 other altars in my room, which I will show you one day. I'm not going to show you right now. My room's a mess. I have one that is beside my wife's bed, and that one houses all of like a lot of our crystals. It houses my witches boxes. It houses my my intention cards that I use to write out my intentions. And it has a really beautiful statue of a woman, and she's kind of like embracing her home, kind of like, she's the protector of her home. So that's that altar there. And then my main altar is beside it, and that one houses everything everything that I use pretty much in my daily work that I do, as far as a pagan, as a Wiccan, in my witchcraft, anything that I may do within my studies. That that is where I'm typically going to be at, or I'm going to be on my couch here in my room, or I'm going to be in my little corner in the living room if it's just me in there. So on your altar, you can have a lot of candles, seeds for the upcoming planting season, drawings of your upcoming garden, and pictures of your gardens for the previous year. You can also put flowers and the sun wheel on your altar. Basically what that means is like the wheel of the year, or like the cycles of the sun, or anything that you may want to use. I don't have anything at all remotely representative of a garden or keeping a plant alive. I can't do that. If it goes outside in the ground, then it needs to be something that doesn't take a whole lot of love and nutrients, because all of my love and nutrients goes to my husband's and my wife and my children and my dogs and that white cat that's running around here somewhere.
Currently under the moon chair.
Okay. So that's where all of my love and patience goes to. That's 3, 4, 5, 6 human beings and a shit ton of animals. That's more than enough. I don't need nothing else relying on me. I've tried. I've killed it. I've cried. Tried again. Realized, not for me. And they just make fun of me for doing it.
I don't make fun of you. I'm no better. But I don't have the patience to deal with waiting on plants to grow.
Yeah, well, we don't have patience. Us two, it's not us.
Yeah, all my plants are fake. You ain't gotta water those.
Yeah.
We'll worry about air.
If we have a real plant, it's a rose that's outside, or a lily that's outside. If we have plants inside, it's because we've bought flowers for the Sabbath or for the holiday or whatever we're celebrating, or just because. And we don't really water those because we like watching them die. So we're not patient people.
They're already cut off the bush anyway, so I mean,
yeah.
Just let them die. We'll be okay.
So you can do that. So what I do is that I have altar cloths that I will drape around my altar, or I'll set outside to have the warmth, or set them in direct sunlight, and so on and so forth. And I use those in and around that time or month or week or whenever I may need it. I don't keep them on my altar for the rest of the year up to the next Sabbath, because it doesn't serve me any purpose, because they're not useful in my day-to-day work. They're useful in that moment during that holiday or during that Sabbath, but not for everything else. I was at altar.
Yeah.
So you can reset and cleanse it. You can, as you do that, or during the days that you celebrate, or during the time you celebrate, or whenever, you can wear the colors of the festival. You can spring clean and cleanse your home. You can even spring clean and cleanse yourself physically, energetically. Yeah, that mentally, emotionally, everything. You please never forget to do that for yourself. I do that all the time. I forget. And then I have a mental breakdown and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. So please never forget to do that. I don't care how crazy your life is. I don't care how stressful work is. Always take that moment to cleanse yourself and get rid of everything that's just heavy and hard and a burden, and just release it all. Don't hold on to that, because all it's going to do is just sit there and fester and become worse.
Turn you into a grumpy old man like me.
That, and you can accidentally take it out on people that don't deserve it.
Like
So,
me.
Who said you didn't deserve it?
No, let's talk about me doing it.
So around this time, a lot of people who have gardens typically start your early gardening, which means you'll start planting your seeds, or you'll start seeing sprouts come up from seeds that you've already planted. and you can start like transferring and that type of thing. I don't really genuinely know. Like I said, I don't have a garden. I don't know a whole lot about a garden.
See these thumbs? They ain't green.
But I have a friend who does have a garden, and she says about this time that she likes to start new plants or new seeds or new vegetables in her garden. And I'm like, do it with intention. Be like, you're going to be abundant this year. You're going to feed my family this year. That type of thing. And she does, and she typically has a huge harvest. And we reap from that. She gives us stuff. And they're good. It's really good stuff. So, don't forget to try to get outside. If it's anything like us, we couldn't really get outside. Like I said, it was storming. And not only that, we were also helping a family try to move during the really bad storm that happened.
Never again.
So, try to get outside as much as you can. Like, if you have a porch, stand on the porch or go walking if it isn't raining. Please don't get lost. Don't go running through the snow or the rain and get sick. Don't put yourself at risk, and don't put others at risk as well. Please be safe, and please be smart as you are enjoying the outdoors. So you can look for starting signs of spring. So like I do when we drive down the road, my daughter likes to point out like, oh my gosh, Mom, look, the cherry blossoms are blooming. Or, Mom, look, those trees are turning green. Or, Mom, our grass is turning green. We teach our daughter to look for those types of things, and I catch myself more and more every day looking and finding those signs, and it starts bringing me really a lot more warmth and a lot more joy in my day-to-day life. And it's amazing how just the smallest of things can just bring a smile to your face when you're looking for that small thing to bring you that joy. So one of the things a lot of people like to do whenever they use Imbolc to actually celebrate and recognize Bridget for the whole day, part of the day, or some of the day, you can go visit a source of water, like a well, a spring, a lake, a river, anything that is a living source of water. And a lot of people like to give thanks, set up a little altar, give a little offering to Bridget to be like, thank you for still allowing us to have this source of water during the cold months. Thank you for allowing us to still be able to use this and nurture from it. And like the animals being able to nurture and use it as well. We didn't get to do that this year. We have done it in the past. We've lived in a house that had a well that primarily worked from a well, and I would always go out there and be like, thank you for allowing us to have this. Thank you for not being dry. Thank you for being able to nurture and take care of my family. And it really does bring a whole new feeling to yourself, being able to recognize like, you wouldn't have these things, or an animal wouldn't have these things if it wasn't for the fact that like this lake didn't ice over, this spring didn't ice over, or this well didn't dry up, and that type of thing. It's really cool and really refreshing to be able to look at little tiny things that some people have taken for granted and be like, wow, this is really deep. This is really meaningful. You can work with divination during this time. So a lot of forms of divination that a lot of people know about is like reading wars. You can do tarot cards. You can do oracle cards. You can do scouring. You can do rune readings. You can do astrology. You can do dream interpretations, read your tea leaves or coffee grounds. Whatever type of divination means that you use, whatever type of divination means that you have been wanting to look into, wanting to practice more with, any of that is a perfect time to be doing that during Imbolc, or to start that practice during Imbolc, or to take that interest during Imbolc. Because like I said, it's about new beginnings. That doesn't always necessarily mean life. Doesn't always necessarily mean grass turning green or leaves coming back. It could also represent really deep, true new beginnings in yourself, in your day-to-day life, practice, work, home, anything. And then my personal thing that we love doing as a family together is that we love being able to do our bonfires and setting things on fire. And so what we do is we like to write our intentions of what we want for the year, for ourselves, our family, or whatever. And we like to throw them into the fire and be like, this is what I want. And we try to manifest those things, starting with Imbolc all the way through to December to Yule. Like, this is what we did, this is what we want, and these are our intentions. And, you know, that's what we do. It's really fun, it's really cool, it's really refreshing. And it's just, I find it very enriching. I find it very empowering, very energizing.
Nothing beats fire.
Maybe, I swear, the hymn.
But I can't be completely silent the whole time. I gotta make some kind of emotion or noise or something.
And so, the last two things that I want to talk about, not everybody typically likes to do these types of things. Typically, a lot of people don't really have things like this that happen during this time. But a lot of people like to save a lot of their initiations for during Imbolc, which means like joining a coven, starting a new family, starting new things in your practices, joining a group, starting a new hobby.
Creating a cult.
Creating a cult.
That'd be me.
Baptisms as far as children or yourself or whatever. A lot of people like to tend to do that during this time because Imbolc's really good for initiations. Because like I said, this is like the season for new beginnings. And so that's something new because you're being initiated into something that's supposed to make a huge impact in your life. And then the last thing that you can do during this time are spells and rituals. So you can do fire rituals for change, water rituals for cleansings, air rituals for energy cleanse of your person or your home or anything at that time. You can also use all of these things for blessings or healing magic, whatever you want to work with, that type of thing. And of course, you can use earth as far as grounding yourself more deeply, more truly, more intentionally with your surroundings in your home, your grounds, your garden, anything that you may need. And I absolutely love it. It feels great. It feels amazing being one with walking in nature. Of course, try not to do that for too long time because like I said, if it's wet and cold or snowy and cold, you can get sick. Sadly. So,
or if it's hot, you can burn your feet.
Or if it's hot, you can burn your feet. But as always, please do everything safely. Please do everything with intention. Please do everything with your knowledge. And if you aren't sure, please be sure to study. Please be sure to ask questions. Never be afraid to look for a deeper, more truer meaning or anything if you are unsure or being drawn to a subject. That's what I do. That's what I always try to do. And I will always forever encourage you to do the same. I encourage my children to do the same. I always tell my kids there is no such thing as a stupid question whenever it comes to wanting to learn something or obtaining a deeper, more true knowledge on anything. You are loved, you're appreciated, and thank you for joining us. And blessed Imbolc.